Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
On the road, in the markets, on the big three, we don't just bring you the headlines, we go beyond them. Every weekday, Monday to join us as we critically review the three biggest stories driving conversations across Nigeria, from politics to policy, economy to everyday life. If Nigeria is talking about it, you'll find it on the big three. The big three, more than the headlines. It's where the conversation lives. Only on Nigeria Info 95.1 FM. The big three.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
A special welcome to you and thank you, those of you who haven't left us all the way since we first went live with the broadcast this morning. My name is Somi, welcoming you to Hard Facts at 3:16 p.m. on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. It is indeed a time to get into all the conversations that are in the news, and the ones that matter also, being that today is Tuesday, that matter to your health and your lifestyle. And then we will wrap it up, of course, with thoughts from you as you share around what's happening with you, situation updates, and eyewitness reports. That's pretty much the lineup of the show from 3 to 7 p.m. today. I hope you're doing well. It's the second day of December. How is it lining up for you so far? Either way, it's good to be here, and it's good to have you here with us. I was told to make sure I introduce myself properly, so Anemuyuiko Makara 1 of Nigeria Info is in the studio this afternoon. And that's me. That's no other person. It's just me. I was warned yesterday. I was given a title, and I should make sure that I use it. I hope I said it right, just in case some of you are wondering, what language does she just speak? I'll leave you to figure that out for yourself. But indeed, it is a good time to be here to talk the big three stories with you, which is what we're kicking off with this afternoon. And we will start with what's happening all the way in Akwa Ibom State. Yes. So, governors, up to all the things that they're up to, they're dealing with insecurity or they are defecting. I mean, we've had another defection today from the PDP. It's not news anymore, I mean, when you hear of these defections. But yes, Governor Adeleke dumped the PDP. According to reports, we would hear of when he's we're going to hear what party he's defected to. I don't think, people are going to crack their heads about that one at this point. But they said by the 13th, we'll know what party he's defecting to. But yes, defections galore continued today. And we're coming to the story of one of such governors who defected to the APC. And, the reason that you keep hearing about, these governors giving for their defection is this thing about not having access to the center if you're in an opposition party, and how, when you're in an opposition party, you have access to the center. And, it's like governance is all skewed when you hear them saying things like this, because at least there are one or two governors who probably are still with the PDP right now, who I want to believe are getting things done in their states. They might not be marking 100% on their scorecards, but at least you would see that they are getting things done. And you think about it, you're like, okay, is any state being denied their federal allocation, for example? Is there something that state governors need to do that they require approval from the center to be able to do it, which makes them say, oh, we don't have access to the center anyway? As far as the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umoh Enoh, came out to say recently, accrediting some projects, some huge things that are happening in the state, to the fact that it's because he is close to the center, because he's now in APC. That's why they're able to do this, and they're able to do this, and they're able to do that. And it just makes one question. One of such projects that he had accredited his access to the center with, for being able to do the project, is a federal housing project in his state. And he had recently claimed that his state received this new federal housing project because he defected from PDP to the APC. But then we're having remarks coming from the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, as well as some other officials that have something to do with housing, that are poking holes in statements such as the one that Governor made. He also stated that Akwa Ibom State University received a federal approval for a law faculty due to his defection, a claim also that has been contradicted by a public document and a federal official. So it's one thing for the politicians to say, this is why I'm defecting, and they make such a spectacle of it. A number of them, at least, they do. Governor for example, was explaining to his 783 aides. First and foremost, that is an unbelievable number of aides. 783. I mean, that's a conversation for another day. But, while he was explaining to his aides, is when he mentioned, some of these statements, talking about what was responsible for things like the federal approval for the Akwa Ibom State University, and also for the housing project. And again, not just the fact that they make a spectacle by announcing these things and trying to get the entire political structure of their states to move with them, but then you also see instances where there is oppression, if you will, oppression, repression, suppression, all of them, of some of the people within the party structure of the state who insist that they're going to remain loyal to whatever party they were in before and refuse to move. But you see, I think this particular wave of defections that we've seen in this year so far have been so, they've reeked of I don't know, I'm trying to find the right word. They've reeked of just entire lack, or we use lack of ideology a lot of the time. It's almost like this a broken record kind of thing. But there's so much more to the way that you see the wave of defections happening. And, a lot of pundits have talked about what that would mean for politics in the state. It's one thing for you to go that home, while and do the thing the way you want to do it, drag your aides with you, the political structure of the state. But it's another thing to then go out of your way to also want to justify things that were already existing as far as the plans for the state from the federal executive, and tie it to the fact that it's because you defected. This is what Enoh was doing, and what some statements have come out to debunk. All right, let's take a look first and foremost at the one concerning the housing project. This particular one is located along Airport Road in Ekpeneukim, Uruan local government area near Uyo. And the governor performed the project's groundbreaking ceremony on the 6th of November. And this was witnessed by the MD and CEO of the Federal Housing Authority, Oyetunde Ojo. And according to a report on the agency's website, Mr. Ojo showed gratitude to the governor for his enthusiasm and cooperation with federal housing in realizing the project. But he also made a remark. He recalled that the governor, from inception, was very receptive to the idea of bringing in the Federal Housing Authority's presence into Akwa Ibom State long before any defections came into play. He said, and that accounted for the reason he willingly gave out land to the federal housing free of charge, with the promise of rendering other support to the agents. Now, when you hear a remark like this coming from the MD himself, it suggests that federal officials may have informed Mr. Ino about the new federal housing project that was coming to the state long before defection became a thing, and he was receptive to it, which is a good thing. It was a good thing. Even as governor of PDP, he was open to the idea. There was no, because you're in PDP, we're not going to bring it. No, none of that was there. It was clear that he was coming, and he made provision for it, even as opposition to the project. He made provisions for it, free land and all. And so when you hear this, it makes you then wonder, why then is he now saying, or why is it that statements that he's putting out is alluding to the fact that it is when he moved to APC, or because he moved to APC, that such a thing was brought to his state. Also, Mr. Dangiwa, the housing minister, said on 2nd of July last year, that the groundbreaking ceremony of the 250 housing unit Renewed Hope Estate in Osun State, that President Bola Tinubu's administration's drive to address the housing deficit in Nigeria covers the country's 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. So, based on this statement, whether you are in the APC or not, as a governor, there were plans by this administration to ensure that the housing deficit is managed to some extent. Still, at that statement last year, under phase 1 of the program, there was a plan to deliver 50,000 housing units across Nigeria, including 7 Renewed Hope cities that would have between 500 to 1,000 housing units per site in each of the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. Then, in addition to that, Renewed Hope estates were supposed to have had 250 units per site in the remaining 30 states. So every state was accounted for in this. And so it just seems a bit dishonest that you then have governors coming out to talk about what is happening in their state now, especially as regards to Governor Moore, is as a result of the fact that he defected. And it just makes us wonder and question, really and truly, what is this whole conversation around the center? Is that, I would ask, is there something else that the governors are looking for when they're doing this whole defection? And it's okay, perhaps, if the problem, as the Governor Adeleke mentioned when he resigned from the PDP, is the whole internal party crisis going on. But to go all the way and then try and accredit all things, or some things that were not part of your, how would I put it, your loyalist package or your patronage package to this administration and to the APC, and just try and put it on them and say that's the reason why, I think is funny. But perhaps you all have different thoughts on it, and I would like to get that as well. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at the other 2 stories on the big 3, and then we will get to you.
The Beta Anniversary Edition is set to be our most ambitious year yet. Experience 3 days of creativity, stage plays, films, music, workshops, the festival market, lifestyle events, and so much more. Date, December 5th to 7th, 2025. Time, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Venue, Abuja Continental Hotel. Ticket options, daily immersion pass, 20,000 naira. Weekend explorer pass, 35,000 naira. Culture crew pass for groups of 3, 54,000 naira. Get your tickets now at www.betaartsfestival.com or contact tickets@betaartsfestival.com for table reservations. Beta Arts Festival 2025 is proudly supported by Abuja Continental, UNDP, Cool FM, Wazobia FM, and Nigeria Info FM.
Welcome back to your number 1 talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
It's all talk and more talk on Nigerian's number 1 talk station.
This country needs a marshal, needs a sheriff.
In some particular societies, especially in my tradition, a woman is not allowed to inherit land.
Issues that get your attention.
This thing has been a carryover for the time of Jonathan.
Yeah.
And they continue this billions.
Your views against all odds.
My word is that why those pastors, why are they not following up their job? Like
The intense conversation.
It has to be given to her now based on sentiment. These are some of the challenges that women go through on a daily basis.
Okay, bro.
And that is
All and more on Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
There's a place where you can get it all trending.
Who are dropping on their vehicle and running, leaving their vehicle.
A place where you can air your views.
I want to report the situation.
Only on your number one station for talk.
This is not the way. We cannot continue like this.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Abuja. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard facts. On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, let's get back into the conversation. Looking at the first story here, I'll just give a quick recap in case you're just joining us. Statements have come out debunking claims by the governor of Akwa Ibom State that certain projects that the state is, able to undertake, or certain approvals that the state has gotten, were due to the fact that he defected to APC from the PDP. We're having, fact checks looking at as far back as last year that show that these development projects that the governor of Akwa Ibom State had mentioned were already part of the plan by the administration, just probably didn't take root properly, or probably took root, but then didn't manifest in its entirety until just recently here. And then that was what Governor was then using to say, this is the reason why we are seeing this. All right. Other governors defecting, of course, I mentioned Adeleke, but the news of the party he's going to, not clear just yet. But let's take a look at what's happening in Rivers State, where it's looking like there may be trouble in the waters again between the lawmakers and the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara. The Speaker of the Rivers House of Assembly, Martins Amewule, condemned the continued neglect of public primary and secondary schools in the state, saying that the decay under the government's watch is unacceptable and embarrassing. Speaking on the floor of the House, Mr. Amewule said it was a sad commentary that public schools in the oil-rich state had deteriorated to the point where vandals were taking over school premises, pupils were learning without teachers, and one teacher was forced to teach 2 classes simultaneously. All of this contained in a video posted yesterday on Facebook. And the speaker continued saying that the reason for the abandonment by the people who were supposed to be doing the needful, he said the reason, is because of the abandonment by the people who were supposed to be doing the needful. As of yesterday, the House Committee Chairperson on Education found that one teacher was teaching 2 classes, primary 1 and 2. They continued to complain about the deplorable state of everything from the educational structures to the security situation in the school, all while Amewule lamented that the government had failed to respond to earlier calls for intervention. According to him, the worst of it is that upon what they said when the motion came up, nothing happened. This is the Rivers State House of Assembly now taking on the governor. So the Rivers State Executive Council had not done anything. They have not tried to remedy the situation, and it was a sad situation indeed. Meanwhile, the speaker also accused the state government of misplaced priorities, alleging that while money was quickly mobilized to sponsor political demonstrations and street protests, the same urgency did not apply when it came to employing teachers and rehabilitating schools. He said, and I quote, "When the last administration was leaving, the plan for the employment of 10,000 workers across the state took place and they were interviewed." And he asked, what has happened? People are not employed when it's time to protest. Funds will come for people to protest. When it is time to employ teachers, there will be no money. And he says we cannot continue to keep quiet. We cannot continue to fold our arms while our children continue to suffer, while teachers continue to cry. All of this, Mr. Amewule placed squarely at the foot of the executive governor of Rivers State, accusing them of neglecting basic education. He said, how would anyone believe that in 2025 in Rivers State, one teacher is teaching two classes? An abomination, aberration, he called it, not acceptable. All of this, of course, subtle, but very, very much clearly directed at the governor of the state. He also spoke to the supposed 600 billion naira that was left by the administrator appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said, what happened to the 600 billion that was left by Ibas? Is it that we don't have funds in the state? He said Iborete Ibas was, when he was leaving, left that amount and then was asking what had happened to it. Of course, the governor came out with a scathing response as well. Hours after the speaker's remarks went viral. He addressed the concerns, though indirectly, during the 123rd and 124th combined quarterly meeting of the Rivers State Council traditional rulers. He said the administration remained committed to education despite glaring challenges in the state. He did not elaborate on what the challenges were, but also stating a case that, perhaps it wasn't as easy as Emewele had made it sound. Anyway, he continued that on claims about delayed employment of 10,000 workers, the report was false. He says it's false information, asked the public to jettison it, and he said employment will be carried out in the state based on the needs and not based on political considerations. He also urged traditional rulers to support the process of stabilizing governance, thanking them for their support and also ensuring that as far as recruitment of teachers and school rehabilitation, it will be captured in the next budget. This clearly shows that political tensions continue in Rivers State, giving the subtle jabs and attacks basically between the speaker and the governor, and seeing as after months of suspension and subsequent reinstatement, Sim perhaps doing what he can to stabilize the state, but you can sense tensions rising, especially from the Legislative House, who are sort of calling him out on what they feel he is doing and what he is not doing. Now, Martin Emewele in particular, based on his political alignment with former governor and now FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, his comments suggest that the truce between Fubara and Wike perhaps maybe not as strong as some of us thought that it was. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that Sim will be able to get a handle of the Legislative House? Or perhaps are they just doing what they're meant to do? Is it a case of really and truly Sim Fubara not really leveling up and needing to do better? And if that's the case, do you think that the Speaker of the House is going about it the right way? After all, wasn't it just yesterday that an activist was accusing the National Assembly of supporting or sort of like siding and hampering the executive? Perhaps this is what we're looking to when it comes to the relationship between the legislature, the Legislative House and the executive. We'll get your thoughts on that. Let's look at the final story here this afternoon before we open up the phone line. Northern governors demanding state police. They are pressing for a state police and also a mining ban, even while the region remains split between calls for a federal military takeover and a push for localized governor-led security. The council chamber of the Sir Kashim Ibrahim House apparently was unusually tense as they gathered yesterday, and the communique they issued at the end of their two-day summit was blunt, that the North was facing a security collapse that could undermine the very existence of the region, and also putting forth two demands. One, the immediate establishment of state police, and also a 6-month ban on mining. These are the two decisions that they reached, but beneath the formal language, according to Premium Times, lies a deeper ideological struggle, seeing as the North appears to now be trapped between two fundamentally different security philosophies. The Rivers Trap is what they are calling it, which is a push for federal military control that could sideline elected governors, and the Katsina Doctrine, apparently, which insists that the solution is not militarization from Abuja, but domestication, transferring real security powers to the state. Now, given the fact that the president, at his last address calling for an emergency on security, sort of like hinted that, states should begin to take up seriously the conversation around state policing. What do you think? The North is indeed demanding for state policing, but experts are warning, and perhaps maybe as the conversations develop and as your calls come in, I can highlight a little bit more what they are looking at, calling the Rivers Trap, and also the Katsina Doctrine. These are the two divides, basically, that apparently some of the northern leaders seem to be split down on each side of. But I don't want to do more talking than I've done already. I want to open up the phone lines. Just generally, the headline there is they are demanding state police and also a 6-month ban on mining. Do you think that this will be perhaps a first step or an answer to the security situation, especially as it persists within the northern region of the country? 6-month ban on mining is an interesting one also considering how practical that would be. Who are they banning? Because some of these people who are mining within the state, some of them, even though reports would have it that there's more illegal mining going on, or there's a lot of illegal mining going on compared to the licensed ones. But say they were going to do this 6-month ban on mining, for example, would that be enough? That's one. Two, how practical will it be? Because the people who are licensed we want to defend the fact that, look, we have these licenses all the way from the federal ministry, and I should be able to go about operating my business. Do you think, let's just basically look at the two demands that they've put forward, the functionality and practicality of state policing within the North, and also the conversation around the 6-month ban on mining. Let's talk. It's 07000951 0000 0809 597 4869. On WhatsApp, it's 009-993-0137. We're also streaming live, so you can go to our Facebook or YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja to be part of the conversation. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
I'm calling from Newcastle.
Say your name again, sir. Your line is not
My name is Mr. Dan.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Newcastle.
Go ahead.
Yes, so I want to tell the local leader that number two, yes,
Mr. Dan.
talking of the money,
Mr. Dan.
will be not good, but if they are doing that, they should also create cattle ranch for the Fulani herdsmen for peace to reign in this country. Number two, for River State, I want to appeal to that speaker to allow the governor to work. Enough is enough. You should allow the governor to work. So please permit me this afternoon, my governor, Edo State governor, I was expecting you to also relate what is happening between him and the former governor.
I spoke about that yesterday, Mr. Dan.
Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry.
That's
so,
fine.
Can I contribute too?
Very quickly.
Because I'm very concerned about my state.
Very quickly. Your time is almost up.
Yes, I will do that. Please, the governor should mind his business. We should work. We want him to work. Now the governor is creating problem up and down. Now he's dethroned Tobas, all the local government in Edo State. We came to my town, dethroned my own Oba, and now it's creating tension. We are in peace in Ososo, in Edo State. But as I'm talking to you now, he dethroned our Oba, the Oba that is recognized even by the government of Edo State.
Okay.
Now, look at what is happening.
I hear you, sir. Let's leave it at that, especially since that particular one which you're expounding on is off topic so that we don't get thrown off. But I hear you. We will make our time to come back to what's happening in Edo State, but let's take some more calls. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Lady Somi, how are you? Abakar calling from Babulaka.
Welcome, sir.
Kudos to Northern Governors Forum. They are never so decisive as yesterday sitting, ever in history. We hope the security fund they raised to the tune of 19 billion. It will be monthly, it will be continuous. We hope it will be utilized judicially, judiciously for the sake of the security. And we hope to try to carry out the strategies and recommendations without compromise. We want to see the immediate end to issue of banditry and insecurity so that people enjoy absolute security in the north and in breaking news, but you have not let the cat out of the dog. I will not play empty. As a breaking news.
So, say that again, sir. On what?
Concerning the appointment of a new defense minister.
Oh, I'm trying to make sure that we get all our ducks in a row
That is
right.
why I say I will not preempt
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Carry on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The one thing that is clear is that we have confirmed the resignation. We want to get all the facts right concerning the appointment. But yes, Minister of Defense resigned yesterday. Let's get back to it. Good afternoon.
Hello, Somi. Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, my name is Wilfred, calling from Busia Alaji currently.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, my own is regarding the northern governors that are calling for state police. You see, it's a little bit late. When their counterpart from the west were calling for this, they were the first to go against it. But now they've noticed the relative peace they've gained. And because of that, their place is on fire now and they want to call for this. And concerning the mining that they talked about, I don't know why the government is not taking over all these places. Why do they allow this one for the, what is it called now, for the northern region to be free for all, such that everybody can go there and mine, no license, no what have you, and to an extent that they are even calling for a 6-month ban within that region. And for River State, there is no amount of agreement that will curb a mature man like Fubara that will obey every rule they've given to him. Even if he has taken oath, I'm certain that agreement will not last long. So Amefule, he's just come here. He has always been one that always takes instruction from his boss. And now that you are hearing this from him, it points out that there's something still wrong internally. And like I said, Wike cannot take Fubara like a baby and maybe want him to bend to do everything. The worst that will happen is that Fubara will just do that 4 years and go. I think that's my point. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I have to ask though, when you were talking about Martins, who was it also? I think someone else also said he was foisting trouble. I mean, when you hear his comments and what the things that he was calling for, perhaps the Ibas own is a bit more controversial. And Fubara, even though he didn't address Amewele directly in his response, also didn't make mention of that one. But concerning the education, you had Fubara speaking to it as well. So it's not as if Martin was being, I don't suppose he was speaking to something that wasn't an existing problem within the state, which is why I was asking, when we say that the legislative should not hamper or support, or if you will, stand on the mandate of the executive, isn't this what we expect to see between the legislative houses and the executive, whether it is in the nation as a whole or in the state? Because unless what Martins was referring to were fabricated stories, I mean, Fubara addressed the lack of employment as a fabricated report, but he addressed also mentioning about how this education and recruitment and all that was going to be factored into the budget. So yes, perhaps some of you will look at it and think Martins is just trying to be troublesome. But is he speaking to real issues in the state? And is that not what we should be seeing? I'm curious. I want to hear what your thoughts are on that one as well. Except you just believe that, as long as he's the one speaking because of his history and his affiliations and his alliances, he should just keep quiet altogether and let everything going on in the state go on just so that peace can reign. I don't know. I'd like to hear from you on that. Good afternoon. All right. Apologies. Do call back. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Welcome.
My name is Lukman, calling from Zaman.
All right.
Yes, I want to talk about the state police. It is long overdue. We have been shouting over and over. I do not see a reason why somebody will call a governor but he cannot control the security. Then what is he doing as a government, as the head of the government at the state level? And I want to advise those who are always having an opposed opinion to state police. They should leave that argument of they will abuse it. They should leave it. It is not strong enough. lives are being lost. Are you getting it? Is it not better for the state police to be used to oppress the political opponent, but guarantee the safety of life, protection of lives and property, than not to have it and we'll be losing lives in thousands? So that is my own. That argument is not strong. So we should stop promoting it. And about rivers, Amauli, they said it's like they're having a piece of the graveyard. Even despite the last this thing, I know the fight is not over. If he's in accord with Fubara, he won't be speaking like that. You understand? And that shows that, this thing is still on. And the way I'm seeing him, Amaule too is trying to play into the minds of the emperor of River State. Probably come 2027, he will be pushed forward to contest. Maybe that's why he's speaking like that. Thank you.
All right then. Thank you so much, Lukman. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Adola Victor from Bita Light.
All right.
The governor of River State and the speaker. You see, one thing about politicians is that politicians don't easily forgive themselves. Although they have settled it, but I don't think they will continue to work cooperatively, because there are suspicions now between the governor and the speaker. And the governor, as I already said earlier, you see, the governor hit them and they want to hit him back now. So, and he has signed the agreement, so he has to honor the agreement. One thing about Nigerian politicians is that they don't resign at the appropriate time. Some of us, or some people, have him not to come back there, because he will just be like a ceremonial governor that they have rendered. Politically, yes, they have rendered him politically impotent. That's my view. So, whatever he sees, he should take. He has no option.
I have to ask.
Want to be governor?
Yeah, Mr. Adiola, you said something earlier. I wanted to draw your attention to when you said that himself and the legislative house would not be able to work cooperatively. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Because there's suspicion. There's suspicion. You see, the house, they are still working with Vic, and he has his own camp, so they can never work together. So there's suspicion between that and the rest of the tenor. There will be suspicion, and they're going to fight, whether we like it or not. Thank you.
All right. I was just trying to understand what the executive governor of a state and the legislative house in the state, what them working together would look like. I've asked the question and I've not heard anybody answer. Or am I asking amiss? Amerole is speaking to the deplorable state of education within parts of River State. Is he lying? Is he telling the truth? And if he's telling the truth and Fubara is responding to some extent to some of the claims that Amerole made, is that not what governance is supposed to be like? Or are we the ones that are just looking at it as political infighting? I'm just trying to understand. Help me make sense of it, if you get where I'm going with the question. Because if they're cooperating, if you will, let me use that term. Someone said if he's in alignment with Fubara, he will not be raising this issue. I think even that in itself is a problem, because perhaps that's the same thing that you have Anaisha Yusufu seeing playing out at the national level, where instead of the legislative houses to be taking on the executive and giving them heat, which is what is looking like Martins is doing, for not getting things done right and, attending to matters of grave national concern. If Martins, for example, was just playing along the way we see playing along at the national level, and we are calling that cooperation, isn't that detrimental to the state and for matters of development in the state? I'm just trying to understand. Or do we just see this as a political statement that Martins is making? Now, if you remember, when we talked about the situation with the Legislative House and the Executive, National Assembly and the Executive yesterday, someone said Aisha's complaining, her activism was political posturing. So what is it supposed to look like? The relationship between the legislative house and the executive? Or is this just Martins lying about the situation in the state because he's in disagreement or he's posturing for whatever election cycle is about to come? Do you understand where I'm going with this? I'm trying to understand, because sometimes we look at this headlines in isolation, but sometimes you can draw, connections and parallels between them. Or again, I ask, am I asking amiss? All right, let's take a few comments here on WhatsApp. We'll go for a break and come back after the 4 o'clock news. This one here says, Haba, Governor Bueno, when last I checked, you are still a pastor, and stop being economical with the truth. This is coming from Leo. He says, actualized Ibom deep sea port first, then I will clap for you for defecting and aligning with the center of gravity. But must you be with the center before things get done? After all, Governor Oti is delivering without dancing with the center. Okay. Philip from Airport Road, please don't give the North what they're asking for, please. Let the country on its own bring out policies that will help the country, not what the Northern elders are asking for. I'm sorry, they're asking that mining should be banned for 6 months, but we shouldn't give them that because you don't trust them. He says you give them state police now, you have given them the avenue to hand the structure to bandits and jihadists because that's what they want. Philip, wow. Like, you went all the way to the deep end with that one. But come on, is that a fair statement to make, really and truly? You might not trust them, but if they're going to put a stop to banditry by putting a stop to some of the activities that have been linked to banditry, for example, illegal mining, even though this time around they are putting a blanket ban, or they're asking for a blanket ban, or trying to implement a blanket ban on mining, would you also say it's because they want to hand the structure to bandits and jihadists? Come on now, some of us, let's be fair. All right. This one here. Good afternoon, Somi. Who would not go to a party that forgives his or her sins? This is why we're heading to one-party system. No matter how you try to suppress the truth, it must resurrect. This is the issue with state police. Oil money is shared amongst all the states, but gold, uranium, and so on are mined by wealthy few, while government gets nothing because they use bandits to divert the attention of government. Chima from Apo with that one. All right, let's come back after the break and the news. We will continue with your thoughts.
As Christmas approaches, smiles light up everywhere. Tantita Security Service Nigeria Limited.
And sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Here on Info, we give you a great blend of all. Local or foreign, we've got you covered.
Blackouts across Nigeria as national grid collapses.
The UN is warning of the consequences of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
We are right on
95.1 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk.
One talk station.
You get a daily dose of news trends.
Crisis averted in aviation sector after aggrieved unions suspend strike.
Intense conversation.
She's among the ICPC board members. Oh. What has she experienced in life? 20 years with a tougher girl. She is that because she has level.
Sports and news to keep you updated all day and every day.
Join the conversation on your number one talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
In the world of movie chaos and trailer apocalypse, only one station gives you the latest and helps you make sense of it all.
I'm not here as a witness.
They were my friends.
Listen!
Oh, I just don't trust you.
So sit back, strap in as we take you through the world of the movies. Animation,
smile and wave, boys.
Original soundtracks, and awesomeness of epic proportions.
Keep calling me with me, tough guys. You just want to laugh at me like everyone else. Oh, nothing back.
It's the movie.
Awesome. I don't have friends. I got family.
Sundays, 8 p.m. on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk movies. Right now.
Your fingertips on your Let's Talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. The details.
The stories.
With the updates.
Your number one station for talk brings it all.
Nigerian politics is more strategic. Even look at the presidential level, you see almost the same thing almost playing out.
Now, news from the nation's capital. This is Abuja Today.
President Bola Tinubu has forwarded the nomination of General Christopher Musa to the Senate for screening and confirmation as the new Minister of Defense. Musa's nomination follows the resignation of Mohammed Badaru on Monday. In the letter, President Tinubu expressed confidence in General Musa's ability to lead the Ministry of Defense and further strengthen Nigeria's security architecture. We shall bring you more details in subsequent bulletins. Troops of the Nigerian Army have foiled a mass abduction in Kwali and Gwagwalada area councils of the FCT. In a statement by the Army, it said the troops of the 176 Guards Battalion alongside the police anti-kidnapping unit carried out the operation. The statement added that the operation, the FCT, alongside several others nationwide, reiterated the Army's commitment to ensuring the safety of lives and property in the country. The Federal Medical Center in Abuja has refuted allegations made in a viral video suggesting poor conditions and inadequate facilities in the oncology department. The center's head of the oncology department, Dr. Ozia Ahmadu, issued a statement on Tuesday clarifying that the unit remained fully functional and was properly equipped to manage cancer patients. Her response followed a video released by a patient who appealed for improved welfare for health workers and better infrastructure for cancer care. Dr. Hamadu explained that the facility had a 12-bedded ward dedicated to oncology, describing the video's depiction of it as a small hall in the backyard as inaccurate. And that's Abuja Today on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Thank you for listening. More news comes your way, 5 p.m. The news update. I am Joy Eberebe.
The details.
The stories.
With the updates.
Your number one station for talk brings it all.
Nigerian politics is more strategic. Even look at the presidential level, you see almost the same thing almost playing out. It's a game of numbers and popularity.
Even of what to help our brothers and sisters to rise up and to condemn.
Don't be left out of the conversation.
Let's talk
On 95.1
Nigeria Info.
Stay updated with all the current news. From policies to politics, economies, local and foreign news. We keep you updated on all the happenings. Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Welcome back to Hard Facts.
All right, let's get back into it. We are taking your thoughts and your contributions to this big three stories we shared today. starting out with the situation in Akwa Ibom State and the position of the governor, who is accrediting the projects that are coming to the state or that are manifesting, if you will, in the state as a result of the fact that he moved to the center. That one, and also the situation in Rivers State, where the Speaker of the State House of Assembly was taking the governor to task, though rather subtly, on matters around education, electricity, and how bad things were. He also called him out concerning reported monies left behind by the administrator of the state that in place during the 6 months yet at the time. And then we've also looked at ban mining, and they're saying with this, as well as a number of other things which they put together in their communique, they were looking to how would I put this now, conclusively address matters of insecurity within their states. So let's get back to your thoughts. 07009510000, 009-597-4869, and 009-993-0137. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Auntie Somi.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I greet all the callers and listeners. So now the scholars from Nigeria say, choose someone to put away for the masses. The state police is a very good one. But they have been mining there, you understand? Which money are we going to use to pay all these state police? Is it with the crude oil money? Money that are going on there. What more of you with money for local and street police and them? You understand? If at all United Emirates Council of Dubai have given them the list of these people sponsoring this insecurity, and they do nothing about it, even with family police, they also do nothing about it. You understand? I think we should tell ourselves the truth. They know in this part. The name of these people. Is your name inside? Or is your family?
This is from Niger State. There we have it. Your voice note is too long. Your voice note's well over 2 minutes. Please record one that is under 2 minutes and I will play it. You know yourself, I believe. You're recording another voice note right now. Okay. Good afternoon, Somi. Umar Mansour from Airport. He says, the northern governors contradict the formation of states police as the insecurity is... Don't know what that word is. It is the best decision that would have been implemented a long time ago, but it's never too late. We pray it should come into existence as quickly as possible. Again, to those of you sending me voice notes over 2 minutes, please record them again. Good afternoon, Somi. I always think that state police will be abused and might just worsen the security situation. The government has not yet thought about what the real solutions are. They haven't come up with any ability. State police will be used against the people, just like the army and NPF are. Mohammed Musa with that one. All right, let's take this call. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, I can hear you. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I'm calling from Cuba.
All right.
Okay, concerning the Northern Forum adopting the state police, I think for them rejecting it all this while, I can say one of the points is because they are not aligned. The system we have been practicing, especially the Northern, is a government that is not aligning with the central government, or is government by their people. They are not for other people in governance. And again, I want to say that the issue, why one of the points they have not accepted the state policing, is about the fact that the state policing is coming to address the issue of misappropriating, maladministration, and the criminality and the tribal issues among them. For now, I think they've accepted it. And I think in the other way around, they should still look towards those misappropriation, because there's another thing. So let it not be that they will now lead this state police in a reckless way. The welfare and the accountability of the state police officers are very important, so that this country will not be a country that we have bad people holding guns and the good ones holding guns. And again, I think this is a good shape-up for the Minister of Defense or to resign, because it's a shape-up from their side. That is why there is a reshufflement and there is a shake-up agitation underground, because it's incapability that makes him to resign. If not about head, it will be about background or ethnic pressure.
Okay.
So that is my own take on this authority. Nigeria
right.
will be great.
All right.
Adults, wake up. Youth, wake up. Nigeria will be great. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. All right, this message here, the communique reached by the 19 northern states, though belated, will go a long way if implemented to stem the chaotic insecurity in the north. Finally, for those canvassing for provision of ancestral lands or communities to killer herdsmen for their cattle for peace to reign, then I will also agitate for the actualization of the Biafran Republic for peace to reign in the southeast. Neme for Masokoro with that one. Somi, the northern oligarchs would always look away from the key solutions to the problems. Yes, state police is a solution, but only in states with pockets/minor cases of insecurity. Creating state police for the states with serious issues of banditry is like treating symptoms, leaving the disease itself. On banning mining activities, I am not aware that the schools where children have been abducted from another case of abductions are located in communities where there are mining activities. The problem has gone beyond solid minerals mining. The best solution to the general issue of security, Israel says, in the region is banning Al-Majri school and Sharia law. After the children finish school, where do they go? We were told that Boko Haram at the inception was to fight political opponents, but after a while, their operations were largely influenced. Oh dear God. Their operations were largely influenced by Sharia law. Those who have the doubt should Google the confession of Kabiru Sokoto in 2010. Good afternoon, Israel says. This is interesting. He says he's not aware that the schools where children were abducted from another case of abduction are located in... yeah, probably that's not the case a lot of the time. But to say that the call for banning on mining activities is really not... I think it's a starting point, really and truly. I mean, if you recall, as far back as when Matawale was governor of what's it called now, Zamfara State. That's the current Minister of State for Defense, by the way. As far back as when he was governor of Zamfara State, the activities of bandits and banditry in the state was linked to mining. As a matter of fact, it will shock you the number of cases of cases around insecurity that are linked to illegal mining going on, and it's not just in the core northern states. And I don't know how to get into this right now. Perhaps we'll find time to bring the experts on. It is a cesspool. That entire thing around illegal mining is a cesspool for so many of the other ills that we see happening in the society. You see trafficking coming from there, gender-based violence issues coming from there, at least from the point of trade and transaction, and even from some of these illegal miners who are resident within those communities. There's so much going on there. So maybe we might not be able to directly link it to what's happening in some of the states, especially as it has to do with kidnapping, but it's still a core issue. I mean, who's to say that they cannot do the banning of mining activities? I mean, 6 months is not such a long time in the general scheme of things. Perhaps the people who are mining in those areas, especially the legal ones, I really don't care about the illegal ones, but people who are legally mining in those areas would disagree with me very, very thoroughly. But in the general scheme of things, if it's just to somehow stem the tide of not just bandit activities, but terrorist activities within the state, a lot of it is tied to what is going on under our God-given earth. It will shock you. It really will. It's an entire conversation we can't get into right now. But who's to say that they cannot do that while also doing some of the things that some of you are advocating for here? Whether it is the Al-Majri system, what else did someone talk about? Bringing out the list of those financing and funding the terrorism, which if you trace, you will still be tied to some of these illegal mining activities. But I mean, they can do all, don't you think? They can do all. But if they're going to start with something, it goes a long way. Again, speaking on that communique and the issue of state police, they described it as a necessary reform to strengthen community-level security and urged federal and state lawmakers. Right, people have urged lawmakers to fast track the legislative process to establish the system. Now, I also hear some concerns about, the gravity of what is going on in some of these states, and then using state policing to sort of like tackle it. Perhaps again, is it a starting point? Is it a fair enough starting point? Or what then would you be suggesting should happen? Time did not allow us to get into it, but really and truly, as far as the northern insecurity situation was concerned, I'd mentioned a few things. The rivers trap, which is basically calling for military administrators, and some security analysts suggested that given the scale of violence in Zamfara, Kaduna, Niger, and parts of Kebbi states, as it has already surpassed what elected state structures can handle, then perhaps a recommendation from a Taraba-based security analyst, Ben Adaji, saying that declarations of emergency without changing the governance structure amounts to mere symbolism. So this is somebody who is saying you should have military administrators, sort of similar to what you had in the River State, but this time around to take on insecurity, right? He called for a 6-month period in which governors of the worst hit states will vacate their seats temporarily to allow military administrators to assume full control in the bid to tackle the insecurity situation. He said, and I quote, "It's no longer news that Zamfara, Kebbi, Sokoto, Niger, Kwara states, Kaduna, and Borno have remained ungovernable for months." And he said security matters of the nature, as we see in this state, should not be politicized. The military should be deployed to handle the affairs of the affected state. This is the recommendation that he is making. I think this is what they're calling the rivers trap. But then, on the other end, you have what they're calling the Katsina Doctrine, which is basically having this whole call for military administrators tossed out the window and saying that based on the president's directives and his instructions, what it remains for is the action agencies and state governments to apply the containment measures outlined by the president. According to the security expert, his emergency directive is not an invitation for federal takeover, but a signal that states must assume ownership of their internal security. And so if states were going to go by assuming ownership of their internal security, they cannot do it without the state structure or without the regional structure, if you will. Perhaps if you were to take it on a state-by-state basis, it might be poking the lion with a pin, and it won't really do much. But if you were to assume a regional structure, because there is a fund that was raised, a 1 billion naira regional fund that was raised to this. How about maybe assume a regional structure? Do you think that would be better off? Because really and truly, some of the situations in some of these states may be a little too difficult to handle. And that is why you had some of the discussions split along these lines. The river situation where you have a military administrator, or what they called the Katsina Doctrine, which is sort of like continuing from where the president's directive stopped to say, take ownership, and that's it. All right, let's take a few more contributions before we wrap up. Somi, bandits no longer go after expatriates or people who mine, but community people and school children. Gone are the days when it was fight for solid materials. It has escalated. I'm not saying it's not a good step, but they should look for solutions beyond banning mining. Okay, I hear you, Israel. Let's see. Dear Sumi, this defection galore is going to bring totalitarianism. A democracy without strong opposition is akin to military rule. Ekeneme Ernest with that one. For me, like Rivers State, it is better to declare a full state of emergency on states in the north affected by terrorism. Let us resolve this issue once and for all. With that, the establishment of state police would most likely be poorly implemented, except it is apolitical. Tokumbo in Abuja with that one. All right.
Hi, Somi. This is Stephen from Use.
Good afternoon.
So about the situation in River State, I think we all want the state to work, and the state working means the federal executive doing their job, and the House of Assembly members calling them to order whenever they're not doing their job. And this is what is happening. I think if this was happening at the federal level, I would have been very, very happy if our Senate president was calling the president to order for things that are not going right in the country. The country would have been a better place. So I think this is a good one. The Speaker of the House of Assembly should be able to call the state governor to order. But since I know if the education sector is not working and the power sector is not working, the state house of assembly, the speaker should be able to call the governor to order and ask him what is happening in the state. The governor should sit up and do his job and stop playing politics about it. Do your job as a governor. We don't care about the history, about what happened yesterday or what has not happened. Everything has been put in the past. Let's move forward. Let the state work. Put your feet on the ground and do your job as a governor. And also the speaker should do his job. If anything is not going right in the state, he should call out the governor to do his job. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. That's about the only person who has addressed the question that I asked concerning the situation in Rivers State, and also using that to juxtapose with the national scenario where you are having a legislative house, whether it's a state house of assembly or a national assembly, that is calling the executive to task. And how do we draw the line and know, okay, he's doing what he's supposed to do because that's what he's supposed to do, or is he doing it because it's a political statement? So thank you for addressing that. Hello.
My name is Alex. I'm making this voice note from you.
Okay.
On the comment of Governor of Akwa Ibom State, this is a joke taken too far. Since the man defected from APC, he has been talking like, let me borrow this word. I don't know whether to say like parrot. He has been talking blah, 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 blah. Even, when you talk too much, you may not know when you overshot your boundary.
Be mindful of your language.
And this is to tell you how low our so-called politicians can be. You are behaving as if Tinubu is your father, a governor, a full-fledged man, talking things just because you want the president to see you as a good boy. And that is the kind of democracy we find ourselves. It's really disappointing. It's disappointing to know that we could do such a thing. There are several governors that are doing well without them defecting to the opposite. Tinubu, when he was a governor, he never defected, and some people still believe that he did well in Lagos. Alex Oti is doing well. Even Enugu State Governor, before he defected yesterday, he has been doing well. It's just that idea, I don't know where that idea is coming from. But I know that some of them will lead to regret their actions. Thank you.
Also, Francis Amagan Namani in Enugu State, thank you so much for your message. I appreciate you. Hafsat Moazu, Anele Madubike, and Ima Musa Churi. I see you all on Facebook. Thank you so much for your thoughts as well. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is Chris coming from the right time and good night to do whatever.
Okay.
I want to talk about the gathering of the leaders, northern leaders, to come out with the communique. Please, this is the result of all we have been saying all along. The fuel, the oil, the everything that supply material to insecurity in the Northeast must be. Because if you check now, those leaders that are there, none of their children has been on the street for this Alamadri thing. They play through satanic politics with everything that they impoverish the children of the poor, hiding under the influence of religion. But their own children, they secure them. Now look at it. The thing is back on them. That's what Sanusi said last time. That they should stop that thing. Jonathan came, wanted to stop it, but they didn't. Now look at it. It wants to consume the whole North. In the next 10 years, if we want to get this thing right, so that we can mop up those in the deserts and all that, so stop the Alamajiri now completely. Then create whatever you want to create, so that there will be no supplies again of human beings that will be that they'll be using as willing tools for terrorism and banditry. This is just it.
Okay.
Anything short of that, we are not making any headway.
All right. Thank
you.
Hello.
Hello, Somi.
Good afternoon. Yes, sir.
Somi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is Salisu calling from Garinko.
Go ahead, please.
Somi, has there any at any point that the northern governors said they are against state police? I don't think so. You understand? Hello?
I'm with you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think the struggle for state police has been there. Like almost all the governors have been in support of it. The only problem there is the federal government. You understand? Federal government has seen it as probably something that will reduce their strength or something. I don't know. But I don't think all the governors, there's ever been any point that governors said they are against state police. No. So it has been there since, and we pray that this one will come to, with the insecurity rather, we pray that it's going to come through because it's long overdue. We need it. But I don't think the governors have ever said they don't need it. Like, this is not the first time. I think the federal government has just been, showing blind eyes to it all this while.
Okay.
And I think it's high time it happens because we need it right now. Insecurity is just something else.
What do you think
So
about the ban on mining? Do you think that will go a long way as well?
Yes, it will help. It will help because if you look at the whole thing right now, it's as if these people are just the people doing the mining right now. It's like it's like the mining has brought in more insecurity. With it's looking like in places like Zamfara and the likes. So I think if you really want anything to succeed right now in terms of security structure, you need to postpone that mining. It will go a long way.
Okay.
Because we have so many machineries coming from everywhere, and so right now for even for you to checkmate the movement of people, it needs to be stopped for now.
Okay.
Then maybe it will not be properly structured, and then then they can resume. And I think that 6 months is even small. Maybe like 2 years ban or something.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see if I can run through any other messages before we wrap it up this afternoon. I've got this voice note. Let's do this.
Good afternoon, Auntie Somi. My name is Triple D, sending this voice message from Waru.
Good afternoon, Triple.
Well, Auntie Somi, canvassing for the state police, and then Minister of Defense that resigned, and then Christopher maybe has been nominated.
He has been. Yeah.
So, do you know that? Let me tell you, not all, but most of these are northern. Are part of this Nigerian problem. And once they sit up and they believe that they have been deceiving themselves for too long, then Nigeria will get it right. So, God bless Nigeria Info and have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see. Let's take this call. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Somi.
Welcome.
My name is Jamilu Utako.
All right, okay, Jamilu, go ahead.
You are doing a wonderful job. I must tell you.
Thank you.
It's not easy handling people like us. And what I want to say is that about the National Assembly, Legislative and Judiciary, honestly, where we are getting it wrong is the condition. Because some people believe that there must be fighting between the executive and the legislative for you to get it wrong. No, when you set a good structure, that there will be check and balance without enmity, without even this thing, a misunderstanding, then you will get it right. Because that is how the system is supposed to be. But in the situation whereby anytime legislator wants to check executive, they will feel that they are coming against them. So that is not supposed to be so. So that is where we are getting it wrong. Because what you do, you must give account of all what you do, because we are there to serve people. And then they have a function. Each arms of government have function. So we must abide by it for we to understand that what is
our functions and responsibility. That is where some people in power they are getting it wrong. Because we the followers, we feel that until when the executive and the legislative are fighting, that is where they are working for us. No, it's not supposed to be so.
Is it fighting per
And then
se?
for the governor that the camp, honestly, as a PDP, it's better for him to left the PDP. Because when you look at, it's a party that we love so much. PDP is my party. But the condition we find ourselves, honestly, no any good governor that we will advise him to stay with the situation we find ourselves. Because even though you won primary election of PDP, due to the court judgment, different judgment, after your election, what happened in Zampara to APC may end up happening to our candidate. Because as of now, we don't know who is our true leader. Because another court judgment may come some few months to election, scatter all the convention that our people did, or they will still hold another convention. So we are no consistency. Internal crisis is everywhere, and even him, as in the governor that he became, I didn't find it funny for him because it took him so long to decide. I don't know what is he holding. He don't want to go to APC. I don't want to go to other opposition party.
Well,
and the whole thing now is
it's possible that he sees the party, even though it's embattled right now, as his one true party. You know how it is now with you men, most of some of us women too. But you know how it is with you men and your football clubs. No matter what the situation is, you can see that there are problems, whether it is in the handling, whether it is in the spending, so many issues, but you decide that you're going to be loyal with it. So, I mean, for the PDP governors who have stuck it out for this long, I kudos to them, I think, to some extent, because will there be ever any time that any political party will not be embattled? I think what shows your strength and your resilience is to be able to stick it out and make sure that you fight and get things right within the party. So when you say you don't know why he waited this long, I mean, he's just probably one of the loyal ones. But anyway, he's gone now, isn't he? But Ogachimili, just to be clear, the whole conversation about how there's this misconception about the legislature and the legislative and the executive having to fight before we believe that they're working. I don't think that's the case. And that's why I've been asking this question. I've been probing to get the true picture concerning the River State situation. Is it possible that the Speaker's alliances lie with someone else? But I asked the question, was he lying about the state of things within the state? That's one question. Two, who is responsible for ensuring that the issues that he raised concerning education and power and whatever within the state are taken care of? And when you hear Fubara's response, he didn't dismiss Martin's claims on that. He talked about what plans they were putting in place. I think that is legislative, putting the executive on their toes. It could be that there is underlying intent there to make him look bad. And guess what? In a situation where he feels like, they can use this thing to make a mess of my remaining time in office, it will now rest on him to ensure that he fixes the state of education within the state. If it's that deplorable as he made it sound. We don't want to say, because he is Wike's person, then he should keep quiet so that peace will reign in the state. If he's calling out matters that have to do with the lives and properties of people within the state, then he should. And if the goal is to make a mess of Fubara, it then rests on the governor to make it right. And I think that's what we should see, even at the national level. Don't keep quiet because you're afraid of hurting